The WNBA thought the controversy surrounding the Indiana Fever versus Golden State Valkyries matchup was finally starting to die down. But now the situation may have turned into an even bigger scandal. According to viral social media posts, circulating screenshots, and a wave of backlash from fans online, veteran Valkyries guard Tiffany Hayes is facing major criticism after allegedly supporting threatening comments aimed at Caitlin Clark.
Tiffany Hayes went on social media and did this.
I got some cousins we don't speak about that will ride at dawn upon request. Just let me know. Ha 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 ha. That's real.
The WNBA needs to come out and suspend her ass. You are pushing for physical harm and violence on Caitlin Clark because she busted you in a basketball game. Tiffany Hayes, you ought to be ashamed.
And if the league really is considering a suspension behind the scenes, as some insiders are reportedly suggesting, this could quickly turn into one of the biggest public relations crises the WNBA has faced since Caitlin Clark entered the league.
Tiffany Hayes still steaming over getting embarrassed.
Tiffany Hayes pushing for physical violence versus Caitlin Clark off the floor even. It is insanity.
What a crybaby and a sore loser you are. Please be careful, Caitlin. Tip Hayes is a thug, and her thug fans are coming for you.
If you're a real Caitlin Clark fan and believe the WNBA should protect its biggest star, type suspend Tiffany Hayes 100% in the comments right now. Now, before we go any further, let's make one thing clear. Trash talk is part of basketball. Caitlin Clark talks, Tiffany Hayes talks, Diana Taurasi talked, Michael Jordan talked. That competitive energy has always been part of the game. And honestly, most fans love the intensity between Clark and Hayes during that Fever versus Valkyries matchup because it made the game feel emotional, personal, and real. But according to many fans online, this situation may have crossed the line beyond basketball. After the game, screenshots from social media threads began circulating online. In those posts, users allegedly made disturbing comments directed toward Caitlin Clark, and the controversy quickly escalated across social media.
Why is there a double standard in the WNBA? If any troll does anything in the name of the Indiana Fever, the commish investigates. But Tiffany Hayes can threaten Caitlin Clark online with violence, and the WNBA does nothing. What type of precedent is this, where only violence against Clark is acceptable for the last 2 years? She's white and she's straight.
You should not be interacting and encouraging physical harm, and you should not be going online and pushing for things to happen to them.
What shocked people even more wasn't only the comments themselves. It was Tiffany Hayes' alleged response. According to the screenshots being shared online, Hayes appeared to reply with phrases like, "That's real," while interacting with those posts. And almost immediately, social media erupted with backlash.
I talk ish because you're never on my teams, but I was ready to support your crash out. Tiffany Hayes responds, "That's fair."
Fans began tagging the WNBA commissioner, while others called out the league's No Space for Hate campaign and questioned whether those standards are being enforced equally across the board. The league has already shown it's willing to investigate fan behavior during controversies involving Caitlin Clark. Last season, the WNBA looked into alleged racist remarks made during tensions between the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky involving Angel Reese. Now many fans are asking a different question. What happens when the controversy appears to involve someone connected to the league itself? The situation also became more sensitive because Caitlin Clark has previously dealt with legitimate security concerns. Earlier this year, reports surfaced involving a man accused of stalking Clark, which sparked broader conversations about player safety around the league. That's why many fans online believe this situation can't simply be dismissed as internet drama or jokes. When you're one of the most recognizable athletes in America, every public interaction carries major attention and scrutiny.
The lack of professionalism in this league, it's a joke. It's disgusting. Tiffany Hayes is now blocking people on social media because they are calling her out for her immaturity and the stupidity.
And make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA right now. Attendance is rising, television ratings are climbing, and merchandise sales are reaching new heights. Arenas across the league are selling out whenever the Indiana Fever come to town. Even major sports networks that barely covered women's basketball in the past are now leading shows with Caitlin Clark highlights. The league's recent surge in popularity, media attention, and television deals has all happened during the Caitlin Clark era. And that's exactly why the situation is becoming such a serious public relations issue for the WNBA. To many fans watching everything unfold online, it feels like the league still hasn't figured out how to properly protect its biggest star. Over the past 2 seasons, Clark has repeatedly found herself at the center of physical play, heated confrontations, and nonstop online controversy involving opposing players and fan bases. And every time another incident happens, the conversation grows louder. Is the WNBA allowing resentment and hostility toward Caitlin Clark to spiral too far? That's the question dominating sports social media right now. According to reports and speculation surrounding the situation, league officials are facing mounting pressure to respond in some way, whether that means a fine, a public statement, mandatory training, or some other disciplinary action involving Tiffany Hayes. Because if the WNBA stays silent after this backlash, Many fans believe the league's credibility could take another major hit.
She needs to be fined and suspended. There's no way she should be able to play in the next game.
A 36-year-old vet is publicly laughing and liking hateful posts calling for targeting of Caitlin Clark to be injured. This is year 3. You have done nothing to protect a star player who is beat to shit every game in hopes of injury by jealous, violent role players.
Now, the pressure is reaching a level the WNBA probably never expected, because this story is no longer staying inside basketball circles. Sports commentators, YouTubers, fan pages, and mainstream sports personalities are all starting to ask the same question. How did things become this toxic around Caitlin Clark? Think about everything that's happened since Clark entered the league. Hard fouls, nonstop trash talk, viral confrontations, social media feuds after major Fever games, and now this latest controversy involving Tiffany Hayes allegedly interacting with disturbing comments online. Fans are looking at the bigger pattern and saying enough is enough. What makes this even more complicated is that many people believe the WNBA unintentionally helped create this environment. For months, much of the public conversation focused heavily on Caitlin Clark's fan base whenever controversy erupted. But now the attention has shifted in the opposite direction. Now fans are asking why there appears to be far less accountability when negativity is directed toward Caitlin Clark herself. And the timing could not be worse for the league.
So these things are to be taken serious, regardless if you want to or not.
The WNBA is experiencing a level of growth it has never seen before. National TV audiences are surging. Indiana Fever ticket prices are skyrocketing. Celebrities are showing up courtside. Merchandise sales are breaking records. Whether people want to admit it or not, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. That's why this controversy is becoming such a major issue internally. Because if the public starts believing the WNBA is tolerating behavior that unfairly targets its biggest superstar, sponsors and broadcasters are going to pay attention too. At that point, this stops being just social media drama. It becomes about league image, public trust, and business reputation. According to reports surrounding the situation, there's also growing frustration behind the scenes that online narratives continue escalating instead of calming down. Some fans even noticed that after the backlash intensified, Tiffany Hayes allegedly began blocking users criticizing her online behavior rather than publicly addressing the controversy. That only fueled more criticism because many people interpreted it as avoiding accountability. At the same time, others around the league believe fans are overreacting and argue the comments were never intended as literal threats. But critics continue pushing back with one key argument. When you're a professional athlete with a major platform, perception matters, especially when the player involved is Caitlin Clark, someone who already draws enormous public attention from both supporters and critics. And in many ways, this entire situation highlights a much deeper divide happening inside the WNBA right now. The tension between the league's veteran era and the new spotlight Caitlin Clark represents.
As a mandatory part of this CBA agreement and these players getting all this new money, etc., the WNBA should have enforced mandatory social media and media training.
Caitlin Clark brought millions of new viewers to women's basketball. But with that attention also came nonstop debates, resentment from some corners, and constant online culture war arguments. Some players have embraced the spotlight. Others seem far less comfortable with the amount of attention Clark receives compared to longtime veterans. And fans notice it. They notice the body language, the interviews, the social media interactions, and the emotional reactions after losses to Clark or after she takes over a game with deep logo threes. That's why this latest controversy spread so quickly. To many people, it didn't feel like one isolated moment. It felt like another chapter in a larger story that has been building ever since Caitlin Clark entered the league. Now the basketball world is waiting to see what happens next. Will the WNBA take action involving Tiffany Hayes? Will the league release a public statement? Or will officials stay quiet and hope the controversy fades away? Because if nothing happens, many fans believe it will reinforce concerns that Caitlin Clark is being held to a different standard than everyone else. And if the backlash continues growing, this controversy could seriously damage the WNBA's image at the exact moment the league should be celebrating its biggest wave of success ever.
This pathetic at WNBA players should not be interacting on social media with fans joking about causing player harm.
Do you think the WNBA would respond differently if another player had publicly interacted with controversial comments aimed at someone other than Caitlin Clark?